Okay, for a while now, I've been wanting to do kind of a series of videos on winter camping and equipment for winter camping, and I've done a couple on some shelters and different odds and ends, but I want to kind of get a little bit more in depth. I really like winter camping. It's a great time to be out. There's no bugs. It's not hot. There's not a lot of people out a lot of times, so it's got a lot of real good benefits. But the drawbacks to it is it takes sometimes a little bit more gear and a little bit more know-how to be out in the woods in the wintertime. So I'll try and help you out with that from what I know, and I'm not the end-all know-all, that's for sure. To start out with, tools that I like to take out in the wintertime. To start with, a good knife, and attached to that knife, a fire steel. What I classify as a good knife is something that feels good in the hand. I'm just kidding. No, it has a nice solid blade on it, usually anywhere from an eighth to 3/16. I think quarter's a little bit thick, but that's just me. Something that you can sharpen easy in the field, and something that meets your needs. I'm out hunting this weekend, so I wanted to bring a knife that'll do all, and that's this Soldier River from Is Turley. Once again, a great knife. Also, with that knife, you need to have a positive a sheath, something that you know is on you all the time, that you can feel on you. You can reach your hand down and be sure your knife is still in. I like a pouch sheath, something that my knife slides way down into. I don't like relying on snaps or anything like that, but that's just me once again. Hooked onto that knife, I always keep a fire steel. This is a great big monster fire steel, but it's another tool. I believe that it goes above and beyond what you need is to have a big one like this, but at least the army size for the winter because of the dampness of the tinders and stuff like that. Fire is going to be one of the major concerns in the wintertime. Wood prep is a big concern. I'm out right now. A couple of my buddies came with me, and they brought small folding saws and hatchets. I brought a 24-inch buck saw and a 26-inch Wetterlings. They learned real quick that these two tools right here are going to get you a pile of firewood to last the night. The reason you want it to last the night is the nights are a long time. It can get real cold depending on the shelter you're doing and this and that, but you want to have a good stack of firewood. It can get dark at 5 o'clock, sometimes earlier in different parts of America that you're in, or in the world. It can get dark quicker. So you got a lot of time to sit around the fire, and you don't want to be scrounging around out in the woods for firewood. So a good buck saw. This is a Trailblazer 24-inch. It's the biggest one they make. This is like the third trip I've had it on. Pretty impressed with it. Works real well. Some people argue that a saw like this, they'd rather have that than an axe. I like to have both, but if I had to have one or the other, I'd probably go with an axe. For me, it's just a little bit more versatile, but you can process a lot of wood with this. I mean, you can get some good 10-inch logs, and if you have a good sharp blade, you go through them pretty quick. But this packs down all into this tube right here, so it's lightweight, it's easy to use, a little bit difficult to put together if you're not used to it, but that's something you have to practice at home. And once again, if you're going to carry a regular traditional buck saw or bow saw, be sure you have something to cover the blade, because you don't want it snagging on your gear, and you don't want to get cut out in the woods and all scratched up. But it ain't going to cut you super bad unless you like running across you real hard, but it can cause some pretty good nicks, which are a pain in the butt when you're out in the field. Another tool of choice is this Wetterlings. It's got a 26-inch handle on it. I'm not a big fan of hatchets in the wintertime. I'm not a fan of 3/4 axes. I like a full-sized axe, and this is just barely a full-size axe, almost a boy's axe, but it really makes up for it in the blade geometry and how sharp it is. It's really good. You know, I found out how sharp it was this summer. Had a little mishap. In case you guys don't know, I ran a axe, just bounced right across the top of my foot. Luckily, I had a doctor with me from Bushcraft USA, and we picked her up real quick, but that's the first time in 20 years I ever cut myself, but it happens. But anyway, once again, you want a real good sheath on there, something that positively locks on there, is not going to come off. So that's the basic tools that I like to take out in the woods for winter camping. You don't have to go buy this, and you don't have to get, you know, a custom knife. You know, a old Hick or a Green River or a Mora will work. That's what I used for years. But this knife is definitely superior to those in my opinion. But an axe, you don't have to go with the Wetterlings. You can go with a plum, or you can go with another axe that you've reconditioned or refurbished. And you can pick up bow saws fairly cheap. I mean, you could actually outfit yourself with these tools for about $40. So you don't have to have top-of-the-line stuff. But I've been doing this long enough that I like top-of-the-line stuff. I can afford it, so I buy it. But anyway, that's the gist of the tools that you want to take out. At least I like to take out with me in the wintertime. I'll be doing some other stuff on clothing and shelters and cooking and things like that for the wintertime. So stand by.